artist from New Zealand. I've been in the UK for about 5 years, and during that time I've been exhibiting. I've done about 20 shows in the last 4 years. Hence to say I got a bit tired, so I've had a bit of a break just recently and just coming back to it now. So I've been trying to develop a digital therapy since 2008. It was the whole idea was sort of birthed during my Masters of Design in 2008, and I studied 3D animation, and then I did. So that was my degree was in 3D animation, and then I did a Masters in Digital Media Artistry, which kind of turned into being very experimental art, and not your traditional just like shoot a film and edit and cut. It was all kind of like shining light through lenses and torches with lights and, you know, refraction and rainbows and anything I could do to create these sort of quite specular effects. So I use it a lot. The work that I'm doing now is mostly based around cymatics, because I'm trying to create a digital therapy, something that when we look at a screen, like an iPhone or a TV or whatever screen you're looking at, you'll experience a physical, a mind, you know, a brain, and mind, body, spirit, so, and then a spiritual effect. So what I looked at was like, I looked into the past and looked into all the different sort of cultures and traditions that would use visual imagery to give a altered state or to bring one especially into meditation. And what I was thinking when I was looking at healing, like what does healing mean? Healing means a whole lot of different things, I discover now. You know, it's a physical thing, it could be a mind thing. Am I trying to get over a psychological disorder? Do I have a physical ailment that hurts? Am I trying to relieve pain? Or like a spiritual effect, like enlightenment, consciousness, shifts in that level. And the thing is, they're all related. So the work that I'm doing is kind of like that. So the traditions that have come in the past are the Buddhist mandalas and the yantras of the Hindu invaders. So they're the main images that I've been drawing from. So this is one of my cymatics images. It's kind of a little bit hard to see, but the geometry of cymatics. So cymatics, who's heard of cymatics? A few people. Okay, so cymatics is sound made visible, and I've got an installation upstairs. You'll be able to see it in person. I've got a speaker with a pool of water, and then I'm filming it and doing like live projections. And now I'm getting into VR as well, so that you can have a totally immersive experience. Okay. So, of the art shows I've been doing, I'm very interested in bringing resonance and vibration to the viewer. So essentially, there is no artwork without the viewer. It's a very Goethean perspective. You are part of the artwork, and the artwork doesn't exist without you. And so with my artwork, I try and like sort of expel energy to you, so you're experiencing an energetic effect through your, through your eyes or through your ears. So using a lot of sound vibration as well, using pure sine wave vibrations. This one here, I'm working with the metals as well, so gold, silver, and copper. This one's like a spinning geometry of a pure copper spinning triangle, and a vesicle Pisces in silver, and then a square is gold, pure gold. And I believe that the resonance of these metals actually comes across to the viewer through the combination of light and resonance. And then, so when the viewer sees them, they experience both a sort of like a physical and a visual experience, and interactive as well, because that's fun. and it keeps people engaged. I used to be part of an art collective in Lewis called Zoo Studios. This is when I started working with the 360 Immersive Dome Cinema. I've done about 3 or 4 shows with them. So it's a huge tent that blows up and you can fit about 20 people inside. And what we would do is project cymatics into the space with people laying in it. So we do lots of like sound healing journeys. So they're not just sound healing, it's like a visual therapy as well. So all of the work I do is based around this. This is the Bright Digital Festival, where I was trying to illuminate the aura. The aura is called the bioelectromagnetic field in science. So it's like, cross-compatible between science and spirituality, which is, what a lot of this type of cyberdelic experiences are combining. It kind of worked. I was hoping for something a bit more like transcendental, where you might actually see like a resonant vibration around you because of the very special geometric resonance of cymatics that was coming through the projector and into space. And I do think it's possible to illuminate things like sound in space if you have very, 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 very high frequencies of projected light with high flicker frequencies, and then very high cameras, high frequency cameras and that kind of thing as well. This is essentially the same show at Kinetic Art Fair, which is where I met a few of you. This is the Mind Body Spirit Festival, so I've exhibited there for 3 years. And the Mind Body Spirit Festival has been a bit of a game changer for me because there's so many spiritually minded people there. When I was doing my master's thesis, it was very scientifically minded because my tutors pretty much said no to spirituality. They were like, you cannot study any spiritual books, we won't let you. So I had to study everything to do with science, and so that means got my knowledge good around the cameras and the frequencies like that. But there's a lot more to it, quite a bit. So Mind Body Spirit Festival, I met these people that could really feel energy. One particular person, she came up to me and she said, she put her hand over the top of the water. There she is there. She could feel the energy running up one arm and then across her body and down her other leg. And so I ran around the Mind Body Spirit Festival, and it's like, I found this Chinese healer and I said, what's happening? Is it the meridian system? Is the energy traveling through the meridian system? And he said, no, the meridian system runs up and down the body. And it turns out that it's the nervous system that crosses the body. And so I was like, oh, okay. So maybe my work is interacting with the nervous system. So using sound and coloured light, vibration. I said about the Mind Body Spirit Festival being a bit of a game changer. When people went into, this was another show we did a couple of years later. So it was the cymatics inside the Soul Dome cinema, that's the blown up cinema there. And we had a crystal bowl player playing inside. She had 6 crystal bowls, and we mic'd up each one, sent the sound into a pool of water with cymatics in it, and then I filmed the visuals live and sent them back into the cinema where people lay and listen to the sound whilst viewing the simultaneous visuals that the sound was producing. And people came out of there having quite no one told me about an out-of-body experience, although I think it's probably possible. But I had someone come up to me and she said that she felt tingling in her knee and that she had a vivid recollection of an operation that she had had when she was a kid, but she couldn't she had pretty much like forgotten about the whole thing. And then it was, so she felt tingling in her leg at the operation, and she came up to me and she's like, what's going on? Like, what have you done? What is this thing you've created? And so that got me thinking, it's accessing aspects of the subconscious mind, because it was bringing up like this traumatic memory that she had, from the past. So in developing my digital therapy and, using techniques of the past with these very like mandala-shaped images, ones that have a center point and resonate out from a center point. These are images that are kind of like tunneling visions of life after death experiences. They've been widely used, and then the cymatics is kind of like, it's almost like a gift, saying, use this, see what it can do, what's its potential. So in terms of interacting with the energetic body, of the subconscious mind and the nervous system, and the brain neurochemicals as well. So the brain neurochemicals is a bit of a theory. I have a theory that I've had since 2008 that this technology that I'm developing may have the ability to release healing specific neurochemicals in the brain, but I haven't tested it yet. So I hope to test it. This is the app that I developed with Justin Holloway of Biotelligent. So that's upstairs as well, and you can play with it. It's an interactive thing. So it's not fully working right now, but the sound is working. So you can change the frequencies on the app, and it goes up and down through sine waves, and that creates the sacred geometry on the surface of the water, the cymatics, and then it's projected up on the wall. So as I was like doing a lot of these immersive exhibitions, the idea is that it's a very personal experience, and I want it to people to be able to really go inside to enhance the meditative quality of the work, to have a really deep experience. And so I really like VR, I think it's really cool, and I love that it's available to all consumers. So I am working with the iPhone, and you can view a virtual reality experience of pretty much where my art is at the moment in the creation of this thing. Unfortunately, it's not really available for Samsung, sorry guys, or Android. So it's a fully immersive technology. It's really intimate and personal and private. You can work with it at home. And so it's kind of like a therapy. It's supposed to be used as a therapy. So like you would sit at home and meditate, you might sit at home, you do yoga. It's kind of like, it's one of those. It's like that, it's supposed to be used for that. In the way that I think it can be really healing, I also think it's potentially a really powerful healing tool. To the extent, the reason why I've had a break for the last 2 years is when I was standing beside this speaker, which is like a huge, powerful speaker. I'm now working with one about this big, but when I was standing next to this one for like 8 hours a day at the Kinetic Art Fair, or like Bright Digital, talking to like people all day, and standing beside this huge speaker sending bass frequencies through the speaker, I was sending them through my own body. So after every single one of my shows, I was having these cathartic episodes where I would just like cry and cry and cry and cry and release and release and release, which is a really good therapeutic tool if you have good guidance from a specialised therapeutic practitioner to help you get through what you're trying to go through. And usually what they talk about in healing and therapy of this particular type to unravel subconscious memories as a healing tool is that quite often like you'll experience something, and then your mind will tell you what's wrong. So it might be like you were abused as a child, or like you got hit with a baseball bat that was like more of a physical thing, or like whatever trauma that is embedded in your body, then it comes up. But you'll get a kind of like a recollection of like, oh, what's the issue? So then you're able to expel it or talk about it. So with my cathartic episodes, there was nothing kind of coming up, and it was like, okay, so I'm just like really crying and not feeling that good anymore. So I've had a 2-year break, and I've kind of like, got my hands into the soil, and I've been gardening, and so I've got kind of like the positive ions and the negative ions. I do think it can be a really great tool, but I also think it's really powerful, so it should be used delicately. So please be mindful when you're viewing my experience upstairs, and just be gentle with yourself. That's kind of what it's about. It's about going inwards in one way, and you may have like spiritual like experiences, or you may have a memory of the past, or I can't say what will happen, but it's got great potential, I think. So implications for the future. I would love to test it, like scientifically, using bio devices, medical devices, EEGs, MRIs. I think it's got real potential. It's about frequency interaction. I've spoken about most of these things, healing specific neurochemicals in the brain. That's the main thing I think that it needs to be tested to find out if that's possible, because I haven't done that yet. And the other one is the water purification studies. I'm working with some of Matsuo Emoto's. He's gone now, but his people are still doing the work, and they think that cymatics can maybe purify water using coloured light therapy and coloured light and sound vibration as healing modalities to purify water. So our bodies are 80% water, so who knows? It's a lot of potential. And then the sound and as meditation. So we know that when we go into meditation, in the state of meditation, our body does release healing-specific neurochemicals, and pretty much it's one of the best things we can possibly do for our bodies on a physical level, a mind level, and a spiritual level. Meditation, just to sit for like 20 minutes a day. So the tool that I've created with the Cymatics and the virtual reality, it's a tool to help you focus, it's a tool to be still, and it's a tool to get rid of everything that's busy in your mind that you're thinking about, which is one of the main things that's really difficult, because your mind's like all chatter. So that helps you to like clear your mind. So future projects. I love to do the testing, really cool. I'd love to present like a thing you can take home and make cymatics at home, and then to do a live thing so you can watch it in VR live whilst adjusting the frequencies. But I'd like need some funding and some development help to like help with that, because